Welcome to the March 2025 episode of NUN Local, the hyperlocal podcast for Netherthorpe, Upperthorpe and Neepsend in Sheffield. I'm going to be covering some of what's been going on in Netherthorpe, Upperthorpe and Neepsend and some events that are coming up in March if you're looking for something to do. If you know about something that's going on here, whether it's news or community activities, whether you run a project or a small business you'd like people to know more about, or maybe you've got an event coming up, get in touch with me. You can find out how to get in touch at nunlocal.news, which is also where you can subscribe to the podcast and find links to any of the things I talk about today. And I'm thrilled to be coming to you at a point when there are crocuses on the Ponderosa. It's a sign that after what has felt like an endless winter, things are coming back to life. So let's start with Netherthorpe. What's been going on in Netherthorpe? So one thing is that South Yorkshire Police have warned people about being targeted in robberies when you arrange to sell something through Facebook Marketplace. And apparently there have been 5 incidents in Netherthorpe where people have met up with a buyer to sell a laptop, a camera, a car, and they have been basically ambushed and assaulted and threatened and had their items stolen. So it's worth being aware if you're selling something on Facebook Marketplace or any kind of app of safety, if it's of any value. So things like taking someone with you if you can, checking the rest of their social media profile if somebody gets in touch. If you get any kind of weird vibes about it, just cancel, that kind of thing. It's difficult to balance being cautious versus not living a normal life, but it's worth being aware that this has been happening. Another bit of Netherthorpe news is that up in Walkley, residents have voted to introduce a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in parts of Walkley. And this is relevant in Netherthorpe because Netherthorpe is one of the areas that could also become part of this 20-mile-an-hour scheme, depending on what happens in a consultation. In the Walkley consultation, 135 people voted in favour of these 20-mile-an-hour zones, 27 people voted against. So I would imagine there will be a similar vote in Netherthorpe if it is agreed that this is one of the areas that this should happen next. Councillor Ben Miskull told the Sheffield Star that it helps to make communities safer and healthier environments. So keep an eye out, Netherthorpe residents, for a consultation on this topic. And the final bit of Netherthorpe news is that you may well remember that in March 2024, a young man was murdered in the Ponderosa Park. Sacad Ali was stabbed to death. It was obviously horrible. And a short documentary has been made about this. It's only 12 minutes long, and Sarah Marshall from the Sheffield Star talks through the facts of the case and what happened at the trials and a bit about the different people involved. I watched it with a bit of wariness because a lot of the reporting on this case at the time felt quite lurid. I think due to the circumstances involving competing drug dealers and Sacad being lured to his killers by a sex worker, but actually it's just tragic all round. And this mini documentary is less full of the scandal and more just factual and contextual about the case. It is available to watch on a website called Shots TV. It has captions and it does not have audio description. I will link to the documentary at nunlocal.news. In Upperthorpe, the news is that there is a new church meeting in Upperthorpe. So Union Church Sheffield has started meeting in the Philadelphia building on Upperthorpe Road on Sundays at 3:00. This is an evangelical Christian congregation, and their website says that they believe that gay people are sinning and that women should submit to their husbands. So if you are not the kind of person who believes that I, as a gay person, have disordered desires, it may not be the place for you if you are looking for a church in the area. If you're fine with that, fill your boots. And in Neepsend, you may remember that there was a Pride event called Kelham Pride last year that was all over Kelham Island and Neepsend with lots of music and dancing and partying. And it is coming back this year, which is very exciting. It's going to be a free event. There will be just lots of celebration. The event will be on the 21st of June this year. The reason it's relevant now is that entertainers are being asked to apply to take part. So maybe you're in a band, you're a comedian, you're a dancer, you're a performer of some kind. If you want to be involved in Kelham Pride this year, there is a website where you can apply to be so. And I will link to that at nunlocal.news. The event has partner venues in Neepsend that include places like Parrot Club, Factory Floor, Alder, Yellow Arch, Neepsend Social Club and Canteen, and more. And it sounds like it's going to be a cracking day.
Subscribe to the podcast at nunlocal.news or search for NUN Local on your favorite podcast player so you never miss an episode.
So what is coming up in Netherthorpe, Upperthorpe and Neepsend in March 2025? I will tell you, and there's quite a lot. So Zest in Upperthorpe, that you probably know as it's got a library and a cafe and a swimming pool and a gym. Zest has a whole range of swimming activities and stuff for kids to do. I will link to their website at nunlocal.news where you can find out where there's a relevant class or event that you might want to go on to. Pedlar Market is on at Pedlar Warehouse on the 7th of March and the 8th of March. So you might remember that in episode 3, I spoke to Anders Hansen about his tours, walking tours around Neepsend. And if that piqued your interest and you're interested in the Kelham Island and Neepsend Art and Studios tour, there's one on the 15th of March at 2 o'clock. Zest tells me that on the 5th of March, there is a late lunch and advice club at Burlington Block. Citizens Advice, Sheffield will be there, and if you're fasting, food can be taken away, so it's still worth going. Another event that's coming up, this time on the 9th of March, is the fascinating sounding pub painting art class with no art skills required, which is something that speaks to me. The Saw Grinders Union says that pub painting caters for all levels of talent and that you'll create your own masterpiece. This time painting a Highland cow. You don't need any equipment, you don't need anything. You just need to turn up, book on their website. Again, everything linked to at nunlocal.news. And everything is included in the price except drinks, which is fair. But you're in a pub, so you can buy drinks as well. It's for adults only, and it sounds like a riot. If you still need more artiness, Church Temple of Fun has a dog life drawing class. Church also has a free film night if you want to go watch The Big Lebowski on March the 21st. On the 27th, there's a ceramics workshop. Plenty to do at church, and do get some food when you're there because it's exceptionally good. Cutlery Works also has some fun events coming up, especially if you've got kids. You can step into a world of fairy tale magic at Books with Belle on Sunday the 9th. There's a free kids pirate party on Sunday the 23rd. They've got a terrazzo workshop with Becky from Oakley Crafts, who you may also remember from a previous episode. And on the 30th of March, there is a Kids Mother's Day t-shirt screen printing workshop. So hours of fun at Cutlery Works, especially if you want to get a bit crafty or if your kids do. I also want to tell you about Mothers Eat Free at Heist Brew Co. Take your mum out for Mother's Day between 12 and 8 p.m. on Sunday, March the 30th. And she gets some of the finest barbecue food. I mean, you can't argue with that. And finally, the Gardener's Rest has a whole range of entertainment set up, whether it's ukulele Sundays, whether it's St. Patrick's Day Eve events, whether it is a songwriting circle, a folk session, guerrilla poetry, all down on Neepsend Lane. Sounds fantastic. So if you have any kind of events coming up in Netherthorpe, Upperthorpe or Neepsend, if you've got something going on that you want to tell me about, have you got a community group? In episode 1, I talked to the Ponderosa Nature Group and I was so inspired by the work they're doing in the park. Have you got something like that going on? Are you picking litter? Let me know. Get in touch. Find everything you need at nunlocal.news. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in April. Thank you for listening to NUN Local, and do subscribe at nunlocal.news to get every episode out on the 1st of every month for more hyperlocal Netherthorpe, Upperthorpe and Neepsend news. NUN Local is a project of Scribble and Bloom, a social enterprise created to encourage self-expression as a way to improve lives. Find out more about Scribble and Bloom Community Interest Company and its other projects, including zine-making workshops and easy-read translations, at scribbleandbloom.org.uk.